Hello, everybody. It's Hot Dog Mike here, the Hog Hound. We have a treat. A friend sent me a can of Frank's, right? And if you want to call it a treat, it's very subjective. But what we have right here, Big Frank's vegan hot dog, huh? Who'da thunk? Lunda is the name of it. And so they put the receipt in there. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to send this and your resources as well. 15-ounce Big Frank's, one pack. Do you want to guess what the price is? $14.99. Can you believe that? Boy, oh boy. So, I mean, just judging by price alone, you know that these are going to be good, right? And so I started, and you know what, let me say that I'm absolutely open-minded, right? You know, I feel sometimes, especially in Iowa, like vegan food gets a bad rap. No, it's still great, it's still food, but at the same time, you know, when you're trying to replicate like a juicy, delicious hot dog, there's only so much you can do. I know science has taken us this far, but at some point we got to ask ourselves, you know, have we gone just a little bit too far? And that's the question that we have for ourselves today. So, an expensive dog at that, but we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. So it seemed like there were 6 inside a jar. There is some like juice in there, or I'm gonna call it hot dog water. And when I was pulling one out, I licked my fingers afterward, and it did taste like a hot dog. So that's a good start. There is very odd to look at, and I'll try not to spill any of the juice here. I had trouble getting them out with a fork. Admittedly, I broke one in half, just because they are really jammed in there. So we're gonna try them out. We did one with mustard, and one is just completely plain. When they were cooking, that's something we need to talk about. It didn't really, I don't know what it smelled like. Maybe a little bit of soy, perhaps. But the thing was, so it kept sticking to the cast iron. And even after I added some oil in there, when I would try to roll them over, it would kind of pull off that layer of skin that was on the outside as it was cooking. So eventually, there was enough oil to where they stopped doing that. You can hear the dog outside. You hear that? There was enough oil to where it stopped pulling off that outer skin. And it's sort of browned up here. We can see a little bit of caramelization taking place. But, I don't know. Let's give it a go. The bun, it didn't soften up the bun too much. It doesn't seem like there was a lot of moisture or steam coming out when I put it inside there. Admittedly, I'm super hungry. But is the stove on?
I don't know.
Is
It
there a
just
fire?
smelled like it.
Oh no, the stove's off luckily. Plus, even if there was a fire, we're doing this in one take. So let's give it a go, huh? Oh no, the first word that came to mind was grass, but no, I mean it definitely has a soy taste to it, so it's not very juicy. Right off the bat, it's not very juicy. Its flavor reminds me of a little bit of like earthy soy, perhaps. Which, if we're looking at the ingredients, what is this? Textured vegetable protein, which there's soy protein in there, soybean oil, water, autolyzed yeast. You know what autolyzed yeast is? That is my favorite ingredient. So there's no snap on this whatsoever. So it makes me wonder about the skin or the casing. And we'll give it another go. The texture is awfully weird. It almost seems a little porous. But you know what? Let's try the mustard one, shall we? Let's try the mustard one. I don't know. You know, so it's not my favorite, if I'm being honest. And it's not because it's not beef, right? I'm very open-minded in this regard. I'm not sitting here thinking like, oh, you know, beef, it's what's for dinner. And if it's not for dinner, I'm going to be a disgruntled man. But it is just not my thing. I don't think the flavor overall is anything to write home about. Not very juicy. It doesn't cook very well in the pan. I don't have a lot of good things to say about it. The one good thing that I would say about it, right, it's kind of like an NA beer, where you could ask yourself, oh, what's the point? You know, what's the point? Like, why don't you just have water instead? No, there's something to be said. You know, if your dietary preference, of course, is to be vegan, more power to you. Absolutely. Then who is anyone to argue against that? And if you're at a cookout, you know, you're still going to want to be able to participate, right? And the same goes with an NA beer. If you're at a bar with your friends, you know, it feels different when you're standing there with water as opposed to an NA beer. So I absolutely get it. So as far as that goes, you know, great replacement. It looks like a hot dog, right? It barks like a hot dog. And I guess technically it's a hot dog. Well, they call it a Frank. But as far as flavor goes, how it cooks, juiciness, and then also texture as well. I think we're going to be pretty low on the scale here. The benefit of the doubt that I'll give it, it's nice that people have an alternative, but I'm going to say about a 2.7. That was all. About a 2.7. And I see the place. But I just look at what we have over here. So we were planning on doing an Oscar Mayer review today, but I just so happened to get this in the mail. And once again, thank you so much. I owe you one. I owe you 6. But you know, when I look at these beef franks here, and of course, I think that Oscar Mayer uses a little bit of corn syrup. We'll get into that in another day. There it is. Scoundrels. The saving grace for this is there's no corn syrup, but now I'm kind of going off on a tangent. But this is what we have lined up for the future. We have an Oscar Mayer 100% beef. And then also my wife, she was so sweet. I came home on Valentine's Day, and wouldn't you know it, uncured beef hot dogs were right there in the fridge. No nitrates or nitrates added. Simply nature. I think this is from Aldi.
It is.
Is that right? So you know that it was inexpensive at that. So, but you know, if I was going tit to tat and I was at a cookout, I mean, you're definitely going to notice a difference, right? A hot dog is a hard thing to replicate just because it's so perfect and pure. But all in all, it's an adequate replacement. That's my review. I greatly appreciate you sending these over once again. Objectively or subjectively, it is just not my thing. I wish I could do it more for you. But I'm going to finish them off, of course. I'm going to finish off these. And thank you very much. I'm going to take my last swig of milk and hot dog Mike out. Aw.